Okay, hi guys. We are making our second Let's Cook Together challenge recipe. And today we're making Thai meatballs. We're starting with pork. This is kind of the, I guess, the traditional way to do Thai meatballs. Although there's also chicken and fish meatballs that I've had while I was in Thailand. But pork seems to be the most commonly used meat. But if you want to make this recipe, you can also use whatever meat you have on hand. You can use chicken, even turkey, whichever one works for you will work for this recipe. So we have 1 pound of ground pork, which we're going to add to a big bowl. And to soften meatballs, to make them less dense and lighter and more pleasant to eat, we use breadcrumbs, and I use whole wheat breadcrumbs that I just add here as well. And I will put this to the side for a little bit because I want to chop some stuff. And one of the flavors that makes these meatballs Thai or Thai style is lemongrass. This is maybe not how you see lemongrass in the store, probably more like this and a little bit fresher. Here in Mexico, where I am, lemongrass is kind of sold in these little packs like this because it's most commonly used for making tea, actually. So a whole pack like this can be brewed and made tea of. So for these meatballs, or for any kind of cooking purposes, I only want this part, kind of the bottom part that's whiter. So I cut all the rest here off. And yeah, I will make tea from this too. And here, this end too. And then maybe you can see here the nice colors of lemongrass in here. If you think the outside layer is too fibrous as well, you can also remove 1 layer, but I think this is totally fine. And this is also the reason we're not using this. It's very fibrous. It has good flavor, but so when you're making stock or tea, you can use it. But if you're using it in something that's going to be eaten, these parts are better. They're softer and also have nice flavor. So I'm just going to chop this one up really fine. And actually, this recipe has been on my blog for a long time. Let me say closer to 4 years. I posted it when we were actually living in Thailand at the time. All these ingredients were very easy to get for me. And in these 4 years, a lot of people have made these Thai meatballs. And one commenter actually left a really good tip. If you can't get lemongrass, or you don't want to go on a big goose hunt to find it, you can also, there's something, I guess, like dry lemongrass powder that you can get in little jars, spice jars. And I guess it also really adds nice flavor and doesn't really go bad, so you can use it for a long time. Down the road, you can use like a teaspoon or 2 here for this recipe, and then store it for any other recipe. Although even if you find like a whole batch of lemongrass kind of like this, or bigger, what I do with leftovers, because I only need like 1 or 2 stalks for this recipe now, I actually freeze them in a little baggie, and they stay great for a long time, for a few months. I do the same with ginger, actually. Whenever I get fresh ginger, especially the organic kind, it's kind of sad when it goes bad before you can even use it all. So that's why I like to freeze it, and frozen spices stay good for a long time, and you can use them for much longer. All right, so we'll add the lemongrass. It's about 2 teaspoons here as well. And we have chopped cilantro. This is 2 tablespoons. And here we have chopped green onions. It's about 4 green onions in here. I'll add all of this in here as well. And next up, garlic, 1 clove of garlic minced, and grated ginger. Hi to everyone who's joining and who's watching this live. I hope you get inspired and make this recipe too. And now for seasoning. Seasoning. There's no salt in these meatballs, no pepper. Actually the only thing we're using here is fish sauce. It's 2 tablespoons. Oops. It gives a great savory umami flavor and salty as well. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of this. And that's it already for the meatballs. So now I'm gonna mix it all up. And for meatballs, I find using my hands is really the easiest to really get it all combined. I smell the fish sauce and the ginger as I'm mixing this together, and really like right away brings me back to Thailand, where there's so many street vendors. So walking down the street, you will always smell awesome food. And it's so good and so cheap. All right, that's it. It's pretty quick. And this is kind of what it looks like all mixed up. I will quickly wash my hands to turn on the stove to preheat the pan for frying the meatballs before we shape them. And I'm just using one small spoon of oil in the pan. Because there's lots of natural fat in the meatballs, we don't need too much, it's just to keep them from sticking. All right, this is about 20 meatballs. So I'm going to start shaping them good size. This is probably like, I don't know, is that 2 inches, 1.5 inches? Like this size. And while these are frying in a little bit, while I'm cooking them, I will make the dipping sauce. So this is really like the best part of this recipe. You really want to not skip out on that. And these meatballs can be used, served as an appetizer, can use them for dinner, some rice and a veg on the side, or one reader made and shared a picture with me. They made rice noodles on the side. I thought that was nice. Kind of reminds me of Vietnamese dinners that have like rice noodles as a base with meatballs on top. And yeah, then the sauce also is great on top of the noodles or rice. And if you're serving them as an appetizer, I like to use these Asian soup spoons and add just a little bit of the dipping sauce right in the bottom, so you can still serve them without everyone having to dip into a communal sauce bowl. So if you're watching, tell me where you're watching from. I if you have made this recipe before, do you like Thai food? I don't know. I mention it a lot, but maybe some of you don't know that we actually used to live in Thailand twice. The first time was just my husband and me. Not long after we got married, we went for kind of like a Southeast Asia travel trip and actually spent 10 months living in southern Thailand by the beach before we traveled on to see more of Southeast Asia. And then we went again in 2015 when we had our daughter. Olivia she was 1 at the time. And we're kind of embarking on our digital nomad family journey at the time. And we knew Thailand was family friendly. It was something we knew. So we went again for, let's see, 9 or 10 months again. So Thai food definitely has a big place in my heart, or my stomach. I really just like the flavors, and curry actually has become my comfort food. That's kind of what I crave on cold, dreary days when I just really need some comfort. Okay, I'll just start with these here. I have 13 meatballs here. Let me quickly wash my hands and we can get ready to fry them up. Where are my tongs? Right here. So I'm using a cast iron pan. It's been preheated on low heat. I'm just going to add the meatballs right at the top. And you don't want to crowd the pan too much, so that the actually can get like a nice browned, so they can get nicely browned on the outside. If you crowd the pan too much, yeah, I guess it will make the meatballs sweat and they kind of steam more than they're frying. All right, that was perfect. And fit exactly like 13 in there. So while that's going, it takes about 15 minutes, I want to say. And I will flip them once in a while so you can get the nice browned outside from all sides. All right, let me quickly grab a bowl to make the sauce. All right, I'm gonna make this sauce in here. And some similar flavors are in the sauce that are already went into the meatballs. There's also fish sauce. I'm lying, there's soy sauce. Fish sauce is only in the meatballs. But we also have cilantro and ginger and garlic in this sauce. So let's start with the soy sauce. 2 tablespoons. And if you're gluten-free, you can use tamari, which is a Japanese soy sauce without wheat, without gluten. And then, of course, you also would need a gluten-free replacement for the breadcrumbs as well to make the whole dish gluten-free. Next up, we need lime juice. And also 2 tablespoons. Just kind of eyeball this. Yeah, it seems like 1/2 is about 1 tablespoon, so I'm going to use the whole lime here. Do you guys have these? This lemon lime squeezers? I love those. Really the best. The easiest way to get your citrus juice. I wanted to get a bigger one too for orange juice. Maybe this one's even bigger to hold oranges too, but don't have that one yet. Now we need a tablespoon of honey. I'll use a fresh spoon. Small spoon to get this all up. And sesame oil. That's really great flavor. Toasted sesame oil. That's, I guess, the important part. That's the one that has the rich, deep flavors you have in many Asian dishes. And we saved a few green onions from the ones that went into the meatballs. All right, I smell the meatballs, so I'm gonna start flipping them here. Oh, yeah, nice. All right. And actually, I didn't mention one of the reasons I'm not using the whole meat to make them right now. Another reason is I want to try meatballs in my new air fryer that I got around Christmas. Apparently, the air fryer makes really good meatballs too. So I'm saving some of the meat, and we'll try that out tonight. And I'm not sure I'm going to share that if it works in my Instagram and Facebook story, so you can see that later how that works. If you don't want to fry on the stove, you could try that. And what's another way people? Yeah, you could probably bake these meatballs as well. I haven't tried it with this recipe specifically, but I don't see why that wouldn't work. Next up, we have a bit more cilantro, finely chopped up, and also a teaspoon of ginger, grated ginger, and garlic as well. And I need my cutting board back. Actually, I'm going to take a different one. Okay, can't find my other cutting board, so I will just flip it around. You know, that's not most food safe because I have the meatballs on the other side, but I will chop up a chili. Where is it hiding? So in Thailand, I used a small red chili. There are not that many red chilies here in Mexico, so I'm using a small serrano chili. And you can adjust to your taste if you don't handle spicy food too well. Definitely remove the seeds and the ribs from the inside. Or you could use jalapeno. This is usually much milder. Yeah, I'm going to remove the seeds and ribs too. Serranos can be quite spicy for my taste. Right, but I think first we're going to give the meatballs one more flip. This time I'm also going to put the lid on to actually do let them steam a little bit, because the outside is nice and browned already. All right, and so I'm just gonna chop the serrano. Do this small as you can, so you don't have like big chunks of spice. And if you don't have fresh chili peppers, you could also use some chili flakes in this. I think that will work too. And it saves your fingers too, because I guess this always happens when you chop chili. You'll get it in your fingers, and you have to be very careful what you're going to touch for the next few hours. Especially if you're wearing contact lenses, be very, very careful. You could also, I guess, if you have kitchen gloves, you could use one to hold the chili as you're chopping, so you don't get it in your hands too much. All right. Wash my hands quick again. All right, and then we stir everything up. I guess mainly what you need to do is incorporate the honey, because I had like a thicker honey. Just make sure it really mixes in there. Right, a bit hard to show. Wow! All right, this is what it looks like. Here you go. Don't worry, wasted a little bit of sauce. But I really wanted to be able to see it what we're making here. Okay, the meatballs getting really loud here. I'm gonna give them one more final flip. They actually look almost done, so I'm just going to take out a couple to show you. I'll let the other ones finish cooking. And then we're actually done. So this is what the meatballs look like. Nicely brown. You have like the specks of green onion, cilantro, and awesome lemongrass flavor in here. And here's the dipping sauce. You can, if you eat them as an appetizer, you can dip the meatballs into the sauce. If you have rice or rice noodles on the side, just pour a little bit of the sauce all over. And yeah, here we go. Thanks so much for joining in making these Thai meatballs. And just a quick reminder about the Let's Cook Together challenge. So this is this week's challenge recipe. I always announce the recipe of the week in my newsletter that goes out Sundays most weeks. And during the week, I will go live and make the recipe with you. And I hope you make it too. If you do, please snap a picture and share it on Instagram, tag me, Lilalicious, or come to my Facebook page, Lilalicious, or the group. We also have a Facebook group, and you can share the picture there as well, which counts as an entry. We have once a month a giveaway for all the Let's Cook Together challenge entries, and this month I'm giving away Amazon gift card. So yeah, go ahead, make meatballs, share them with me, and good luck. Enjoy. Bye.